In this video, we'll write the Lewis structure for AlF4-. First thing we need to do is count up the valence electrons. Aluminum, group 13, sometimes called 3A, 3 valence electrons. Fluorine is in group 17, sometimes called 7A. It has 7 valence electrons. We have 4 fluorine atoms. And then that negative sign up here, this means we have an extra electron. So we'll add that extra electron. We add this all up. We get 32 total valence electrons for the AlF4- Lewis structure. We'll put the least electronegative element at the center of our Lewis structure. That's the aluminum. So we'll put our aluminum here in the center, and then we'll put 4 fluorine atoms around the outside. We have 32 total valence electrons for this AlF4- Lewis structure. We'll put a pair of electrons between atoms. That'll form the chemical bond. Then we'll complete the octets on each one of these atoms on the outside. So at this point, we've used all 32 valence electrons. Each fluorine has an octet. It has its 8 valence electrons. And the aluminum in the center, that also has 8 valence electrons. So this is the Lewis structure for AlF4-. Since it's an ion, we should put brackets around it and then put a negative sign out here. If we wanted to look at the molecular geometry for AlF4-, we see we have 1, 2, 3, 4 atoms, and there's no lone pairs. All of these atoms here are involved in chemical bonds. So that would look like this. The purple, that would be that central aluminum atom. We have 4 fluorine atoms. 1, 2, you can see they spread out. 3, still spreading out, and 4. That gives us this tetrahedral molecular geometry, and the bond angle should be 109.5 degrees. If we wanted to know the electron geometry, since there are no lone pairs, we have a tetrahedral electron geometry as well. Back to our Lewis structure. If you use the AXE notation to figure out the molecular geometry, A is the central atom, the aluminum. X, that's the number of atoms around it. We have 4 fluorines. And then E, that would be the number of lone pairs. And there are 0 lone pairs. So we could look this up in AX4. That's a tetrahedral molecular geometry, just like we found before. This is Dr. B with the Lewis structure and molecular geometry for AlF4-. Thanks for watching.